Hey y'all, it's Kevin again with the Covington County Commission, and we're going to have voting school via the internet one more time, at least one more time. So let's get started. I'm going to try to do this briefly, and y'all don't forget, you're going to have a book like this, an election official's handbook, that's going to tell you everything about this election that you need to know. I'm going to go a quick overview over it, touch on the real important issues. Starting with the newest issue is our electronic poll pads. Our electronic poll pads will come in a blue box like this, and you'll take it out of the box and place it on your table where your normal voter's poll list would be. Plug it in, and right on the top left corner right here, turn it on. I'm going to produce another short video on that machine itself. You'll also meet with the probate judge. Excuse me. You'll meet with the probate judge one-on-one, and she'll show you a little bit about it if you haven't already. So while that's booting up, just a reminder, we get there at 6:30, and one of the first things we want to do is go ahead and get this thing on and make sure that it's going to work. If not, give us a call. We've got some spares. We also want to get this machine on. Now this is our record of election box. This is where all of your stuff is going to come in. There is a before the polls open envelope with all kind of signs and stuff in it. You want to get those signs out and place them in your building. You want to plug this machine in first. You want to open the back of it. You'll have a set of keys. Open the back of it and plug it in. Once you get it plugged in, you'll unlock it on the front, and you'll simply lift up on the screen. That will turn the machine on. I would suggest doing this first thing in the morning. You can do this at 6 o'clock, 6:30, whatever. Because if there's a problem with this, we need to know it as soon as possible. While this is booting up, we are going to have to write in our clerk's poll list. So our clerk's poll list, we will print everyone's name that votes. Everyone that comes up on our electronic polling pad, we will print their name in this book as long as they're an eligible voter in our precinct. We'll print their name here. We will not have a voter's poll list. That's what this took the place of, but we will have the clerk's poll list. So on the back of the clerk's poll list, we'll administer the oath of office. Chief inspectors will administer the oath of office. Sometime as soon as everybody gets there, we'll go ahead and administer the oath of office. We'll turn this machine on, we turn this machine on. It's going to take a few minutes. It's a computer. It's booting up right now. And while that's doing that, you can set your table out or tables out the way that you want them. Another thing you need to do, very important, go ahead and get your provisional stuff out. It'll come in a bag in your provisional box. Now, you can go ahead and put your record of elections seal on this box, because the rest of the day, all you'll do is place the envelopes in here. That's all you'll do for the rest of the day. So it comes with record of election tape. You can go ahead and seal it up. There's an outline for provisional voters. There's an inspector's challenge of eligibility. If if the inspector believes that that person shouldn't be voting in that precinct for whatever reason, he can fill out that piece of paper. All right, so when our machine comes up, this is what it's going to look like. All you're going to have to do is hit open polls. Notice that the public count is 0. That's very important. Public count is 0. And notice that the time is correct on it. This is for the election 11:03, but make sure the time is correct. And it's normally about 5 minutes fast, and that's okay. As long as it's no more than about 5 or 10 minutes fast, that's fine. You'll notice this machine is going to give you a 0 totals report. Very important that this report stay on this machine for the remainder of the day during our voting process. So it's giving us, showing us that no one has voted on this machine. They're all zeros. That's what we're looking for. Like I said, you can go ahead and click open polls at 6 o'clock in the morning to get this tape to run. You cannot let anybody vote before 7 o'clock a.m., but you can go ahead and open the polls on this machine. You unlock the door at 7, of course. So it's going to print you out a 0 tape, and then it's going to give you this screen, and you'll press go to voting mode. And here we're ready. We're ready to receive ballots now. Okay? 0 votes on the machine. The time, ready to receive ballots. Everyone needs to come over here and sign the 0 tape. The inspector first, and then the clerks need to sign the 0 tape, saying that they're all zeros. This machine has no votes on it before you open the polls. You just sign this and roll it up on the machine, however you can. I usually roll it up and stick it right there beside it. Now that'll stay on the machine for the whole day, whole 12-hour day until the end of the day when we print our closing polls. All right, so this machine is up. You're going to click on launch, and you'll also have a PQC code, and the judge of probate will provide this for you. And I typed it in wrong the first time. You'll put that, and you'll also have a username and a password. You'll type in the username and the password, and this thing's up and ready to go. And I'm going to go into detail on that later, but now you can take someone's driver's license when they come in, you can hold it up under this machine and it will scan it, or you can search for the voter by typing their name in. And this is going to take our place of our book that we flip through to try to find people's name and highlight it. This is going to take the place of that. So before we open the polls here, there's several different pieces of paper you can make yourself familiar with. One of them being the ballot accounting certificate. Very important, this piece of paper is filled out correctly. You fill out the election, the precinct, the date, the county, and then the ballot types that you get, or ballot styles. Now, Andalusian Op are going to have 2 different ballot styles. Everyone else will just have 1 ballot style. Andalusian Op, you will have 2. There's some people in the city limits of Andalusia and the city limits of Op that don't get to vote on one of the county races for the Board of Education. So you will have 2 different ballots in Andalusia and Op. Otherwise, you go ahead and fill out your beginning number, your ending number, and how many your total ballots that you received. You can get all this portion filled out. And at the end of the day, we'll fill this out, finish filling it out completely. All right, if a voter comes in and it says that they are inactive, before we give them a ballot, y'all, we got to give them to fill out one of these, okay? This machine is going to do the exact same thing that the book would do. This machine is going to tell you they were inactive. All right, so they need to fill out one of these before we give them a ballot so that the Board of Registrars can update their information. So what if a voter doesn't have an ID? Well, if they don't have an ID, and a couple of you know that you know who they are, there's a election official's affidavit for identifying qualified elector. You can fill this out and sign it. And we'll have to have this returned to us if they don't have an ID. If they come in and they're in the wrong precinct, you can't find their name in your precinct, this machine is going to eliminate all the telephone calls to the Board of Registrar's office. Y'all will like that. This machine is going to say they're at the wrong precinct. And we can click on their name and find their precinct, and it'll tell you what precinct they're supposed to be at. And you'll tell them, this is the precinct you're supposed to be at. It gives you the address and everything on it. Hopefully we won't have a whole lot of that. Most people today know where their precinct is, and we had a lot of changes several years ago, but most of that has been cleared up now. So I want to touch on provisional votes. There's a few things that would make us have to ask someone to vote a provisional vote. If we cannot identify them, if they have no ID and you don't know them, they're going to have to vote a provisional vote. Y'all, it's very important that you take this provisional ballots. There's a little booklet inside your provisional ballot box that tells you step by step what to do. Very, very important that we follow this. We've had several mistakes in the recent past. Small mistakes, but we've had several mistakes. There's also an outline for a provisional voter. If they have a question about it, they don't understand it, why are you asking me to do this? You can ask them to move out of the line, read this. That will kind of explain it to them. On each one of these envelopes, the instructions are there, okay? The PB4, very important when we get this back. Do not put in record of elections container. It's also very important when we decide to issue a provisional ballot. Each one of these ballots, the PB1 and the PB2, have the instructions written on them. All right, the instructions to the voter. Seal your provisional ballot in this envelope after you have marked it. So if we decide that they're going to vote provisionally, they're still going to vote the same ballot everyone else votes, okay? One exception, we're going to tear the corner off of it. The same way we would do a spoiled ballot. A spoiled ballot is if someone makes a mistake and they come back to get another ballot, we can issue them another ballot. If we receive the one that they mismarked, we will tear the corner off of it and put it in our spoiled ballot envelope. Every provisional ballot, the corner must be torn also. All this does is make sure that this ballot won't slip by y'all and get in this machine. Y'all are going to be busy. You're going to ask this person to go sit at the table and vote. And you're going to ask them to place this in this envelope. Place this envelope inside the provisional ballot return envelope PB2. Okay? Complete the information on the front of the envelope PB2 and place inside the provisional box. This is the one you hand them with the ballot. When they bring that back, you will place that envelope in this envelope. Voter's name, printed name, okay? Line number from roster. One thing's a little bit different. We are going to have a provisional roster where this is our roster for the election. We will have a provisional roster. We will have to write their name in the provisional roster because, of course, they won't be on our system. So this place envelope, PB1 inside this envelope, and complete this envelope and place inside the provisional box. All you do is voter's name, print the voter's name, the line from the roster on this. Okay? This envelope, inside this envelope, inside this box. This envelope, all rosters of provisional voters, okay? And all provisional verification statements. Before they vote, here is the provisional verification statement. Very similar to the voter re-identification form. There's actually a voter re-identification form on here. There's a place for the voter to sign. There's also a place for the poll official to sign. Y'all, it's very important that we fill out everything on here. Double check ourselves and fill out everything on here. Double check yourself. Double check the voter. Make sure they've done it. Most of the time, the chief inspector will do this or they'll assign it to someone. Provisional clerk. Very important this is filled out correctly. Very important this is filled out all correctly. It's going to take some time, I know. But it's very important this is filled out correctly. The only thing that goes in this envelope is your roster and these statements. Okay? This is returned in this bag with all your other stuff, okay? This PB4 envelope does not go in here. Very important. Very important. All right. So I'm going to mark one of these ballots and put it in this machine. If anyone asks, this is the general election and you can vote for just your party. And I just voted for one of the parties on here. just to make this take a ballot. Voting machine not programmed for your ballot. Okay, that's ballot style 1. That's one of the ones. Learning curve right here. It said voting machine was not programmed for my ballot. That's because that's one of those ballots that only go to Andalusia and op, okay? And I've got a different machine. All right, so I'm gonna get the other ballot style. And I'm gonna vote straight party. Now we have one vote on the machine. So at the end of the day, when we're ready to close the polls, we're gonna open this up and touch close polls. This will begin to print our tape. We'll have to touch close polls on the screen, obviously. Now our tape will begin to print. It'll give us a ballot status accounting report, and then of course it'll give us our results from the election. This is gonna print out about 7 times, and it's gonna have all the results on it, and there was a place at the bottom of each one of them for each of you to sign. Don't forget, we need to sign every one of those. You'll probably have an extra one this time. You may not. You'll place one on the door of the precinct or in the window beside the door, whatever you can do. Just for time, I'm gonna cancel. At the end, when you get all this stuff out, you just finish and turn off. Once the machine goes off, it's powering down now. Once it powers down, you can remove the data pack out of it. Envelope after the polls close. So we're closing the polls, and here's all of our envelopes. Keys from the machine, memory card, okay? The judge of probate gets a memory card. So once you take the memory card out of the machine, place it in the appropriate envelope, just close this machine up. You have your paper off, put those in the respective envelopes, just close this machine up. You can lock it for me if you would, and I'll be around to pick them up later. So as you're closing the polls, there's a lot of envelopes, and each envelope tells you what to put in it, okay? Each one of them. One for the canvassing board, one for the news media, the judge of probate. Here's our record of elections. Here's your most important piece of paper. This is the one that you'll follow from the top to the bottom. Bag these items, box these items, okay? All of our, right here, envelope PB4 with a provisional roster and provisional verification statements with voter identification form attached. Do not seal this in the provisional box. That's what I went over just a minute ago. Very important. All this stuff on the top right here. All these envelopes go in this bag. All the white envelopes go in this bag. Everything that goes in the box right here is the brown envelopes. And of course, our partial pads, our empty pads with our stubs, and any partial pad. So we'll get our record of election box back. We'll put all this stuff in there, which will be the brown envelopes, our partial pads, our empty pads, and you will take your record of election seal and seal this box up. The ballots, you will take the ballots out of the machine, take your keys and take the ballots out of the machine, place them in the voted ballot box, voted ballots, seal it up with a record of election tape. We need this back, all ballots out of the machine we need back in these boxes If you have more than one, it's got a place for you to put how many you have and which box it is. All the voted ballots in this box. All the partial pads in the record of elections box. And any full unused pads that you have. If you have an extra box, you can put them in there, but don't seal it up with the record of election tape. You can write on it unused ballots, whatever you like, or you can actually bring them back just loose. We'll take them, we just need them all back to us, okay? All right, the last thing we're gonna do after we secure this machine and turn it off, we've got to bring this machine back to the probate judge's office. So we're going to shut it down. You can hold the power button and it'll shut it down. Unplug it and carefully put it back in the box. Close the box and make sure that the latch is locked to secure it so that you can carry it, okay? It's not super heavy, it's kind of bulky, but it's a very protective case. It protects this machine, very important. This probate judge has got to get these back, okay? Make sure the latches are locked, bring this back with you with the rest of the boxes and things. And of course, we'll be at the courthouse to assist y'all when y'all get there. This is a general election. Should be fairly smooth. It is a long ballot. It's a pretty long ballot. It's got some amendments on the back of it. So it may take people a little extra time this time. Just remember, if you need us, there's going to be a piece of paper in your packet that will have all of our phone numbers on it. It'll have the probate judge's phone number. It'll have the board of registrar's phone number. It'll have my phone number. Normally it's got the Secretary of State's phone number. There's a lot of support out there for you guys. And if you have any questions starting at 6 o'clock in the morning or earlier, if you have any question about anything that I've talked about, anything that you don't remember, please go ahead and give us a call. You're not going to bother us. We want to be sure that we get this right. We don't have to get a court order to open a box. We want to get everything right. I believe y'all are going to really like this electronic polling pad. It's very user-friendly. And I believe y'all will really, really like it once we get used to it. It'll take a little getting used to. If you have any questions about it, we've got a lot of support also. So just call us with any question that you have and call us as early as possible because this is a big county and we got a long way to go to get to y'all. Some of you very far from Andalusia where most of us will start. So give us a call as early as you can so that we can make preparations to help you open by 7 o'clock if at all possible. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye.